This video shows how to configure an Alpha Anywhere application server to support HTTP Publish. The publish process is managed by the application server and is restricted to authorized users as defined in the published data stored on the server. The first step is to open the application server settings and go to the Other tab. Select the option to allow publish. The user authentication and authorization data is stored in a special file. If the data folder is blank, the data is stored in the same folder as the server configuration file. A specific folder may be selected if the system has multiple application servers and they should share the same publish information. In that case, select the folder that can be accessed by all application servers. The publish is restricted and requires a username and password for authorization. So we can open the publish permissions and set up new users or edit existing users. This shows a list of all the users who are currently authorized to publish to this server. It shows a username, a blanked out password, and what folders they may publish to. If the folder is listed as webroot, they can publish to any folder on this particular server. If it has a specific folder, then they can only publish to that specific folder. We can edit an existing user by double-clicking on a row, or we can enter a new user. If we enter a new user, it shows the username and password. The username must be all letters or numbers and only 6 to 40 characters in length. The password must be also numbers and letters and 6 to 20 characters in length. It must contain one uppercase, one lowercase, and one number. The password cannot be recovered after it has been set, so you should record the username and password for each specific user who may publish to this machine. If we look at an existing user, we can see how this can be edited. As we can see here, we have a username and a password, and it shows they are restricted to a specific folder. We can edit the folder authorizations by adding a folder, removing a folder, or editing the folder. If we go out to edit, it shows a list of folders that exist on this particular server, plus any folders that have been defined as being allowed for publish. We can select a specific folder, or we can select webroot, or we can enter a new folder if we so desire. So we can change this, for example, if we want to allow them to publish to a new folder called Application 3, we can enter the folder here. We can also set to allow publish or not allow publish for this specific user. This allows us to turn off the publish process temporarily if desired without losing the user authentication information. Once we've defined all the proper elements for this particular user, we can save the user. The publish process allows us to define multiple users that can publish to this particular machine. We can, as mentioned, we can restrict to specific folders or allow all folders. Another option here is we can restrict the file types that can be included in a publish. If we open up a list here, we show a list of file types that are normally considered executable files. In some cases, it may be desirable to restrict the publish to not allow any of these files in the published data. So by selecting a file type here, this file type will not be allowed in the publish, and if the publish is attempted with any of these files in the publish list, the publish will be canceled. You can also add a specific file type that you wish to restrict by clicking on the Add Type. Once you've configured the publish authorization and authentication process, you can save the data. The first time you turn on the HTTP publish, the application server must be stopped and restarted. This allows the application server to create an endpoint for the publish process, which must exist. This completes the configuration of the application server for the HTTP publish.